that 7-cylinder.
What's that?
I love the sound.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting was when you start it up, it doesn't sound real healthy, and that's because when I primed it, I'm only putting fuel in the top 4 cylinders. So when it starts, the bottom 3 aren't running.
Oh, okay.
So, and then when you get used to it, if you look out the right-hand side, it'll start to run, and it doesn't run so good. And then you can actually see the cylinders coming online. There'll be a little puff of white smoke, and then I'm like, okay, I got 5. Then I got 6, and there's number 7. When you know what's going on, it's really, really cool.
That is awesome.
Okay, we have oil pressure, so that's the first thing we look at there. So, all right, let's go ahead and go through our pre-takeoff checklist. You've already seen that happen. We're going to use the word cigar for our controls. So go ahead and check your controls. Make sure your controls work okay. Ailerons, left and right, yes. Elevator, up and down, yes. And the reason why we look at the elevator is because that's not one piece back there. It's 2 different pieces, and it's bolted together by 3 bolts. I check it on our pre-flight inspection, but a friend of mine said there was one airplane he flew, and he was moving it around, and they were moving differently. And he was like, what? So he shut it off, got in it, went back there and looked, and the bolts were loose. So like one elevator would go up farther than the other. It was just kind of working.
Oh, man.
Not good.
Try the rudder?
Rudder, go ahead and check your rudder. That's left, right. How's it feel?
Got it.
Okay.
Smooth.
We'll call that good. I is for instruments. I'm looking over your left shoulder. Looks like your altimeter is right at 0. So
It's
that's
0.
a good thing. Airspeed's at 0. And that little black ball is out to the left. Here's how that's going to work. That little black ball is going to tell you how much rudder pedal pressure to use. Now, my flight yesterday, I was talking to the guy about it. And I remember when I was learning how to fly, that would always confuse me. I would never know which way to push the rudder. Until my father told me this, step on the ball. I'm like, what does that mean? And he said, if it's out to the right, right rudder. If it's out to the left, left rudder.
Right.
And I'm like, really? And he says, well, look at the gauge. Go ahead and look at your instrument. On the top right, it says R, right? That means right. Step on the right pedal, even tells you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got that. And then I was able to lay that to bed. Those 3 instruments are what I want you to use. Your altimeter, your airspeed, and your little black ball. Don't worry about the engine here today. G, gasoline, your fuel is above your head. Yep. Each quarter tank is an hour. So 3 hours and some change there. And that little red box on the top is moving. If I move the airplane around, you'll see it. Yeah, so it's not stuck. Yeah. So it's an active reading. The fuel gauge has those little red bands. Red indicates fuel. Inside the cockpit by your left knee is that little red ball that I'm moving around. That's your mixture control.
Yeah, lean rich.
Yeah, the higher you go, the less dense the air is.
Less oxygen.
Yeah, that's why airplanes like to fly high, because it's cheap up there. You can actually lean it out. Yeah, you're not
less drag
using as much fuel. But it takes a lot of gas to get up there. That's how you can drive from here to California, and you can go over Albuquerque or Denver, the pass there, and it's like 11,000 feet, and your car's fine because your computer's actually doing that. We don't have a computer, so we have to do that ourselves. And then right ahead of that, you'll see a little red arrow that says on-off. That's your fuel valve. There are some times when I have to do maintenance to the fuel system, like I have to check the fuel screen to make sure there's no debris in it. Well, you don't want fuel pouring out of this thing, so you can actually shut it off. Or to be more specific, if you have an engine fire, let's go ahead and shut the fuel flow off. A is accessories. We have 2 of those. Elevator trim tab. The tab is underneath the throttle on the left-hand side. You'll see me moving that lever around.
Got it.
You know what a trim tab does. Your sim has one as well.
Right.
Carburetor heat. We don't need that today. It's already 80. We can't get carb ice, but we have that availability. It's right here, this little quadrant here.
I got you.
It says carburetor air. So right now, it's getting fresh air from that little black snorkel above in the front on the right. When we push this to cold, a little flapper valve closes. Now it's getting some heated air
from the engine,
from the exhaust. Yeah. We'll leave that cold. R is run up, and we'll check the engine out by the runway.
And the magnetos.
Yeah, on the far left-hand side of the panel. You see that over there?
Off.
Yeah. So just hold on to the stick for now.
Okay.
And put your feet on the floorboards, not on the pedals. I'll have some power here. And for your first lesson, I'm going to kind of tell you what's going on. I don't have you taxi it now because on the tops of the pedals, that's where the brakes are. And so what I don't want you to do is accidentally get on the brakes, because this is your first time in, in a plane like this.
Right.
Because everybody likes to see an airplane crash on TV. I mean, it's sensational. No one cares about a car crash. It happens every single day. But an airplane, especially an old airplane, man. Bad news, I'm be here like in a second. So we don't want this thing.
I can see why you catwalk, because you can't see right in front.
Yeah, so you go a little bit to the left, and then you hang your head out the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna cheat a little bit here, the fantasy of flight, and the reason for that is no one can land here but me. So Kermit's out of town, so no one can land here, so I don't really have to worry about other airplanes because it's a private field. There are no taxiways here, so we're going to back taxi on the main runway. All right. So here we are at the end of the runway. Before we check our engine, I'm going to face this thing into the wind. So we're going to do a 180 here. Feel cool. Now, in my world, fantasy of flight here, this is what my heaven would look like. The only difference is free gas. Because I got a mile of runway here, right? It's grass. No one can land here but me. I mean, I'm like, pinch me. I mean, it's awesome. And I have a couple cool planes to fly.
Yeah.
All right, so.
You win, Waldo.
I win.
You win.
All right, so let's go ahead and check our engine. So bring the stick all the way back to your lap, like you're going to be doing a loop. There you go. I'll bring the power forward. It should be warming up now. I'll do a mag check. There's right mag, that's fine. Left mag, that's fine. Now if I turn the magneto switch to off, the engine, I'm going to bring the power back to that, so it's not turning real high RPM. It should quit, and it does. So the ignition switch is working.
Yep.
So the airplane's airworthy. I'm airworthy. I had 9 hours of sleep. I feel really good today, 9 hours of sleep. So, so here's the deal. I want you to hold on to the stick for takeoff. As soon as we get off the ground, I'm going to tell you, go ahead, Bill, and put your feet on the rudder pedals. You always want your heels on the floorboards when I tell you that. You don't want your feet on the top. We're going to do 2 turns together, one to the left, one to the right, and we'll talk about the rudder and the ailerons and all that stuff. And then once we get that out of the way, I'm going to give you the airplane. So 2 words of advice. You've heard me say it on the video. 1, look out the window the whole time. If you do that, you'll be a rock star. You'll do really, really well. If you stare at instruments, the airplane's going to go all over the sky because really no one's flying it. We don't have that artificial horizon thing that tells you what the airplane is doing. Gosh, that's enough talking. You ready?
I'm ready.
If you're ready, I'm ready. Let me check the runway for alligators.
Alligators and deer.
Yeah, there's nothing there. All right, so the idea on the takeoff is you look straight ahead and you focus on infinity. And when you do that, you can see these little white runway markers. You see?
Yeah, I see the lights.
Right.
I assume those are lights.
Sticks in neutral, which is right about there. Yeah, because if you start looking to your left or looking to your right, that's the way you go. All right, that's about full power right there. We'll just let the airplane speed up. The wind's right down the runway. The tail's right now coming off the ground. That's telling us that she's ready to fly. We bring the nose up and we're in the air. It's not a big deal. Now, we want airspeed. She'll only climb with airspeed. Go ahead and put your feet on the pedals, by the way.
Okay, got it.
All right, so right now we got about 75 to 80 miles an hour. That's fine. That's what it likes. And up we go. Now, if we hit a bump or something, the airplane rolls left and rolls right. A lot of times it'll go back to level flight. Sometimes it needs your help. That's part of flying.
Yeah.
All right, so here's I-4. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here today is we're going to take a left-hand turn. So what I want you to do is just gently ease the stick to your left. It's going to roll to your left. You get the angle of bank that you want. Stick back to neutral. Very good. So look at that little black ball in your instrument panel.
Yeah, I see it.
It's in the middle.
Right.
And so what that's telling you is you don't need to use any left rudder.
Got it.
The torque's doing that for you. Now, as you come around, you're going to see the red and white checkerboard water tower right here off your left wing.
Right.
That's Fantasy of Flight. Keep this left-hand turn going until you see another red and white tower. It's over here off your left with a little flashing beacon on the top.
Yeah, I see it.
When you're heading towards that, let's go ahead and roll the wings back to level. Good. And then fly this direction for now. I don't want you making a right-hand turn now because we're going to be right over this housing and development here.
Roger.
Going good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and try a right-hand turn. So ease the stick to your right. As you roll to your right, you get the angle of bank that you want, stick back to neutral. Now look at that little black ball.
Yeah, I see it.
Push forward on the right pedal until the ball comes back. There you go. And then once that ball's in the middle, you leave the pedal input throughout the whole turn. Look right back outside.
Got it.
My time is over. Airplane's yours. Let's go ahead and roll the wings back to level.
Yeah, you feel a little resistance from the air.
Up there, yeah. On the ailerons? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make another left-hand turn.
Left hand? Roger.
Keeping it coming left. Keep coming left. I'll tell you when to roll out.
Okay.
We're going to be going out here to the northwest, and the reason why I like to go out there is open field. There you go. We'll roll the wings to level right about here. Awesome. All right. So I want the wings level, but just continue climbing. We're going to go up to 1,000 feet. So we want 80 or 75 miles an hour. So there's 75 there. There you go. So what we're looking for right now is if you stare at a gauge, you're going to be chasing that needle. You're going to be going up, but then you're going to be going down, up, but down.
Right.
Once you get 75 to 80 miles an hour out of it, look outside the airplane. Just hold your constant climb angle, what you got right now. The climb angle that you see is going to translate to around 75 to 80 miles an hour. Good.
Probably about 700, coming up on 700 feet.
Yep. Now, a lot of the maneuvers that we're going to be doing today, ground reference. I'm going to point out a couple of items I want you to look at, and just by looking over the side, you're going to see which direction you're going. Route 33 is right ahead of you. It's north and south. It goes up to Groveland. Okay, you're going to see it here in a second. Well, you can see it off your left. You really can't see it off your right, yeah. So what I want you to do is fly over the top of the 33, and then we're going to make a right-hand turn. We'll go up to the north.
Okay.
There you go. You can make the turn now. That's fine. Good. Remember to use that right rudder. Good. Good. Now, look over here. You see there's a fence line or a tree line right there? That's east and west. Let's make a left-hand turn. Let's go back to the west.
Okay.
And you don't have to use any rudder on this one here. Good. Keep it coming left. Keep it coming left. So, this area that we're flying in today, it's like northern Indiana. It's all roads, right? Or not roads. There's tree lines, there's fence lines. Up in northern Indiana, there's crop lines. It's all north, south, east, west. You cannot get lost up there.
Right.
Let's make another left-hand turn. Let's go back to the south.
Roger.
There's a fence line here, fence line there. There's a road right here. That's north-south. Keep it going left. We're looking for about a 20-degree angle of bank. That's about 20 right there. And let's go up a little higher. We're going to go up another 100 feet or so.
Altitude.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit, and then we'll start our lesson. Cool. Let's make a right-hand turn back to the west. Good. fine here. We're almost at 900 feet. I'm gonna, we'll level off here. I'm gonna bring the power back a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go into our lesson. We know that the horizon's level from grade school. We know that those wires are 45 degrees because I told you so about 15 minutes ago. So let's make a 180 degree turn to your left, 30 degree angle of bank. So you're gonna have to guess. Let's try that.
Okay.
10, 20, 30. Good. Hold it there. Now, as it comes around, we're gonna look back at our section line. There's a section line right here off your left wing. That's north and south. So this is 90 degrees. Keep it going left.
Okay. It's touchy.
Extremely.
Yeah, it's really touchy.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Let's try the same thing to your right.
To the right?
Yep, 30 degree angle of bank. Turn to your right, we'll do a 180 out here. And as you come around, you're gonna see this housing subdivision right ahead of you. Those roads, north, south, east, west. Again, you can't get lost.
Right.
That's 90 degrees. And that's a 180. Good, so far so good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a 360 this time. Big circle in the sky. Put that left wire parallel to the horizon and a little bit above the horizon, and that'll be a level turn in the sky. There's no one behind you. I don't see anybody at all. Whenever you're ready, let's try one to your left.
Okay.
So work on keeping that wire parallel. So let's get a little steeper, a little bit more angle of bank to your left. A little bit more, a little bit more. There. Hold that there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep it level, keep that wire parallel and above the horizon. If that wire falls below the horizon, that means you're going downhill.
Yeah.
That's a 180. And again, I know that because I'm looking at the fences out here. 270 is here. Keep it going left. Good. That's a 360. Let's try one to your right. Same deal. Add a little right rudder. It's not any more difficult than going left. It's just the rudder input. That's the only thing that's different. Work on getting it. Just push yourself to get it a little steeper. A little steeper. There you go. Good. $180. Little steeper. Keep it going. 270 is there. Good. That's how you turn a P-51 Mustang or Stearman or Corsair. It doesn't matter what it is. It all is about the same.
Man.
So you're up there smiling, so that means you're having a good time. That's why you're here today. All right, Lazy 8. This is fun. And again, as you know, I'm going to come on the controls with you. We're going to do half of a Lazy 8 to the left, together. Let me just demonstrate it. It's a lot easier for me to do that than try and talk you through it.
You got it?
All right, so I'm with you now. Stay with me.
Oh, okay.
So we start, there's houses. I'm going to make a turn over here. Houses to our left there. All right, so let's prepare the airplane, so we're going to roll it back to level flight. We look at our airspeed indicator. We're going at least 85. That's good. 10 degrees to our left. 10 degrees. Right there, that's all you want. That's about 10 degrees. Then we're going to bring the nose up gently. Now we're going to freeze this stick right here. Now listen to the engine. You can hear the RPM decreasing as it goes uphill.
Oh, yeah.
We're not moving the stick. We're not moving our feet. Right now, gravity is pulling the nose to the horizon. downhill, it flies. Now listen to it. 75, 80, 85, there's 90, 95, there's 100.
Oh man, it really comes
yeah,
up.
you hear it?
Yeah.
Good. That's half of a lazy 8 to our left.
The airspeed really comes up when you...
Going downhill, it really comes up quickly. All right, airplane is yours. Let's roll the wings to level. Back to level. Let me look around, no one's around. All right, 10 degrees to your left. Stick to neutral. Bring the nose up. Up some more. Up, 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 up. Now hold it right there. Listen to the RPM decrease as it goes uphill. Here comes the nose to the horizon. Don't move it. Like I said before, part of the maneuver is going downhill. Now listen to it. 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Start rolling it right to bring the nose up. Good.
Wow.
Again, if you're going to be Pappy Boyington's wingman, you can't look at instruments because you're going to die in combat. All right, let's try one to the right. The only difference here is going to be rudder. You're going to have to use some rudder over the top.
Okay.
No one's around. There's your angle of bank. That's fine. Bring the nose up. Up some more. Hold that stick right there. Good. Now push on that right rudder. Good. It's speeding up. Start rolling it left and bring the nose up. There's about a G1/2.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool, right?
That was awesome.
All right.
Scary, but it was awesome.
Oh, there's nothing to be scared. Well, the first time you do anything, yeah, it's scary, but there's no jeopardy at all in doing that. All right, so here's what's next. One left, followed by one to the right. No stopping in between the two.
Okay.
All right. No one's around you. Let's try it.
What do we go,
I'll
like
talk you
90
through
and
it.
90?
Yeah, you're fine. You're at 80 miles an hour. 10 degrees left. Bring the nose up. Up, 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 up some more. Up some. There you go. Now, look over your left shoulder.
Holy cow.
And see, it just rolled out. So what you did was you brought the nose, you rolled it out. So when you bring the nose up initially, don't move the stick. Let's try it again.
Okay.
So 10 degrees left, and bring the nose up. Up some more, up some more. All right, don't move the stick. Now look over your left shoulder. This is why they call it lazy. Look how slow that is.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty? Now we're going downhill. Good. Start rolling it right. Good. 10 degrees right. And bring the nose up. Up some more. Up, 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 up. Right rudder. And then start rolling it left. Bring the nose up. There's 105.
Oh, geez.
And that's a lazy 8. Now we're down here a little lower, so let's go ahead and go back upstairs a little bit higher.
All right.
And while we're climbing, let's make a 180 left or right, your choice. Left or right, your choice.
We'll go left.
All right. And we'll climb back up to 800 feet or 900 feet.
All right, we're 600 now. Does this have an angle of attack?
Yeah, they would all, but we don't have an angle of attack indicator.
Okay.
But your angle of attack is the attack that the wings have to the horizon, the relative wind. So like right now, you can see, if you look out here, we have a positive angle of attack because we're climbing.
Oh, okay.
Can you see it?
Right.
So basically I tell people, if you look out at the horizon, that's level. Like right now, that would be maybe level flight because our wings are parallel to the horizon. Let's make a left-hand turn, but we still want to climb a little higher.
Yeah, we're not quite 800.
So let's make a left-hand turn.
Ready?
Yep. Left-hand turn. There you go. Just like you were doing before. We're still climbing. Let's go to 900 feet.
900?
Yeah.
All right.
Beautiful day. Man.
There's 850.
Okay. Now, you've seen this before on the videos. We talked about it briefly on the ground. It's the stall. Everybody's fear factor is the stall because it's the fear of the unknown. At this point of our flight, you probably can trust me like I'm not some crazy guy that wants to scare you. But we're going to learn what the airplane does in a stall. So what I want you to do is just keep the wings level. I'm going to gently bring the power back. Because when I was young, I hated stalls. Man, I hated them. All right. Gently lower the nose. Okay, a little bit more. There you go. Now tell me when you can hear the whistle of the wind in the wires. Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so right now you're going almost 100. Bring it back to level flight. Good, now listen to the airplane. Listen to it. you hear the airspeed bleeding off?
Yeah, it's going down.
Good, bring the nose up some more. Listen to it. You're going 75, bring the nose up some more. Up some more. Now, don't move the stick. Listen how quiet it is. Here's your stall in the Stearman. The airplane's basically saying to you right now, don't move the stick. Let the nose come through.
Oh, okay.
It's saying to you, I can't go any slower, so if you won't lower my nose, I'm going to do it for you. Now, we have all this airspeed going over the wings, which creates more lift. Look what the nose is doing.
I can hear, oh yeah, it's starting to lift.
It's coming back up to level flight without anything from you at all. So, that's a stall in a Stearman.
It corrects itself in the stall.
It's made for an 18-year-old. So if you stall it, you let go of the stick, it's going to go back to level flight. If you are paying attention when you fly this airplane, if it gets quiet, it's going slow. If it's loud, you're going fast. That's all it's teaching you. Yeah. So you don't need to look at an instrument to know what the airplane is doing. Now, in a Cessna, you do because you can't hear it. You're inside. Let's make a left-hand turn. And that's how you fly a plane.
Awesome.
What makes it great is, it's 80 whatever, 84 degrees here today. You're flying in an area that's super, super safe. If we had an engine issue and we had to land it, man, we can land it in any field.
Yeah,
we want
there's
to
a lot
out here, yeah. So it's safe.
A lot of open area.
So, looking at, okay, right now it's 82 degrees. It's 82. Up north, let's see.
Hey, I picked the perfect day to go fly.
You did. So let's try this. Go ahead and roll the wings to level. All right, so we have it at about 500 feet. Actually, let's go up a little higher. We're a little below that. We'll go to 500. We'll go to 500 feet. So we have air show smoke. It looks like this if you look outside the right-hand side. There's your smoke. So let's try another 360. I think I kind of sensed that initially when you were doing that, you were a little uncomfortable with the 45-degree thing. Let's focus in on the 45-degree angle of bank. When you start your turn to your left, I'll give you some air show smoke. If you make a level turn in the sky, you're going to fly right through your smoke.
Okay.
So go ahead and lower your nose to level flight, which is right there. Let's try one to your left. Going around.
Go to 45.
Left. Here's your smoke. There's your marker right there. So keep it going left. Much better than the first time. Good.
Funny, it doesn't take much rudder. There's a bird.
Yeah, they usually get out of your way. We're really not going much faster than they are. No, it doesn't take any rudder going left. All right, so keep coming to left now. Start looking for your smoke. I can actually see it. Can you see it right ahead of you?
It's not in my angle.
It's a little bit. It's right there, right ahead of you. You see it? Directly ahead of you now.
I see it. Yeah.
So that's a level turn in the sky. Good. Let's try one to your right.
Okay.
Now, to get your private pilot's license, this is one of the maneuvers you have to do. Smoke on now. Good. Now you see how low the wire is? So you're going to prove yourself. So this one you're descending. As you come around, you're going to see your slope's going to be above us. I can see it now. As you come around. Now bring the nose up.
Oh, I see it.
See there it is right there. Yeah. So we descended on that one, but we flew through it. So it's cool. So you can actually visually see how well you're doing when you're doing the turns.
Yeah, using these cables for the 45.
They're perfect, yeah.
And keeping up with the horizon.
Exactly. Now normally airplanes don't have that, but they do have an instrument. On the instrument panel, it's called an artificial horizon. There's these little tick marks that tell you how steep you are.
Yeah, I remember that from the flight simulator.
Okay, let's do. What about the Lazy 8? Did you like the Lazy 8?
Yeah.
All right. There's no one really to your left. Let's go to your left. So a shallow turn to your left. Bring the nose up. Up some more. There you go.
Now don't touch the control.
Exactly. Let it come downhill. Now you start rolling it to your right. Shallow turn to your right. Bring the nose up. Up some more. Up. There you go. You got to remember, you're not in a Cessna. This is a Sterman, so you want to get some nice pitch changes. Good. Now we're going downhill. There's about 2 G's right there.
You get heavy in the seat.
Yeah. So that was maybe 2 G's, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
That was like a G and 3/4.
Yeah.
So imagine 6. That hurts. And at that point in time when you pull the 6 G's, it's your body weight times 6. Yeah,
right.
And it is a lot.
Where do you lose consciousness?
As big as I am, I'm going to be out at about 5. The shorter you are, the shorter the distance from your head to your heart, so you can withstand more G-forces. That's why, like, guys that fly Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, those guys that fly the F-16s, they're like 5'2", 5'3". They're going to make a really good fighter pilot.
Yeah.
The guys that are 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3", they're going to be in a bomber because you're not pulling G's like that.
Yeah.
And,
they wear a G-suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Flight suit.
All right, let's climb back up a little higher.
I can see where, like, somebody that was really nervous would just grip this, or grip the stick until they're cramped.
I had a guy yesterday, he had a death grip on it. We hadn't even left the ground yet. He was like, whoa. All right, so let's try this. You're doing such a good job. I did not sense that the stall bothered you at all. Did that stall bother you?
No.
All right. In the real world, a partial power on stall probably would not happen. Either you got a lot of power like you're climbing, or you got no power like you're landing. So let's bring the nose up some more. There you go. Now look out at the wings. Bring the nose up some more. Look how steep you're going up.
Oh, wow.
All right, now she's going to slow down. Now don't move the stick. Here's your power on stall right here. It's very uneventful, right?
Yeah.
And you're back to level flight. So, but what you would not want to do is that, like on climb out, like when we were climbing out, I was telling you, like lower the nose, you want to go 75. A lot of times people rotate and they want to go up like a jet. You'll stall it at about 100 feet, and it could kill you. So energy management is very, very important on the initially. Let's make a right-hand turn. There's a prison right ahead of you. We'll go to the west here. I got one more thing for you.
Got a tower there.
Yeah, there's a tower there.
Little rudder.
Good. All right, we'll roll the wings to level here. So you've done a partial power on stall, no big deal. You've done a power on stall, not a big deal. We're going to do one more thing, a power off stall, because basically this is going to simulate what it's going to sound like when we land today. Because you got to bring the power off or the airplane will not stop flying. So
right.
Just keep the wings level. I'm going to gently bring the power back.
Okay.
I think you'll like it. What's kind of cool, because right above the stall, you start to smell the exhaust fumes coming into the cockpit. And why that's important is because when you're learning how to land it, if you start smelling exhaust, you're going really slow.
Yeah.
All right, good. Start bringing the nose up. Bring the nose up some more. Up some more. Can you smell that?
Yeah. I can smell it.
Bring the nose up a little bit more. And there's your stall. And then listen to it. Listen, you hear the whistle?
I can hear the whistle.
Yeah, that means it's flying.
Through the cables.
And here comes the nose on up. All right, so you've learned best trainer ever built is this.
Yeah.
Again, not practical to be used as a trainer in this day and age. A Cessna, if you go into a Cessna, that's a good trainer, but you won't like it like this. This is easier to fly.
Yeah.
And the stall characteristics of a Cessna, you will not like that. Because when it stalls, one wing's going to stall before the other, and it falls out of the sky. It's scary. It's not docile like this.
I saw where Stearman went on to be president of Lockheed.
Lloyd Stearman. Yeah.
And designed the Lockheed Electra.
The Electra, exactly. Yeah,
That
he
was
went out to
Earhart plane.
Los Angeles and did that. And then after World War II, he moved to Dos Palos, California, out to San Joaquin Valley. That's where I'm from. And he started Stearman Engineering, and he would take these airplanes, military surplus after the war, and they would put the 450s in them, the big engines in them, and they would be front dusters. But just as you know, Lloyd Sterman had very little to do with this. Boeing took a design that he made called a Model 6 Cloud Boy, and they modified it to make this. So that's what they call it a Sterman because Boeing bought Stearman, but bought it. Anyway. Okay, so here's what's next. Fantasy of Flight is directly over the nose.
Roger.
We need to figure out which runway we're going to land on here today. And the way we're going to do that, the way I do that is by looking over the side of the airplane, you can see the wind on the water. You see it there?
Yeah.
The wind, and you can see which direction it's coming. It's coming out of the southwest here.
South.
Yeah. So, Fantasy of Flight, you'll see it's right down to your left. You see it there?
Yeah. We want to land into the wind.
We're going to land into the wind, so we're going to land on the main runway. So let's make a left-hand turn. So just keep that in mind right there. That's where we want to go. Right by the Connie. Good. All right, we'll roll the wings to level here. Now, we did those 30-degree angle of bank turns for a reason. All right, in the pattern to land, that's what we're looking for. We don't want this steep stuff now. Because remember, the steeper your angle of bank, the more lift the wings lose, and consequently, the higher your airspeed when it stalls as well. So that's why we want shallow turns. Let's make a 30-degree angle of bank turn to your left. There you go. 90-degree angle of bank, or I'm sorry, 90-degree change of direction. Good, there's a radio-controlled model field right ahead of you, so let's roll the wings to level. Your runway is right there. So we're going to do two turns in a rectangle. Let's make another left-hand turn. Now I'm starting to gently bring the power back. Good. We'll roll the wings to level. Your runway's off your left. You see it? It goes between the trees.
Trying to get my bearings here. Oh, yeah.
All right, good. Let's start your left-hand turn now.
Okay.
We want to maintain airspeed, at least 75. There you go.
Oh, this is awesome. This
Now,
is just like a flight simulator.
Oh yeah, same thing. Now you do have a little crosswind left and right. So what that means to you is the wind should start. It should start to blow you to the right a little bit, not much. It's almost right down the runway. Get it all lined up. All right, if we lost the engine, we're going to make the runway from here, so we're good. So nice and safe. So this is just like that power off stall that we did about 5 minutes ago. So let it come down, let it come down. All right, I'm going to take it from here.
Okay.
So just have your feet on the floor, not on the pedals. Yep. Now listen to it. Just like that stall that you did. We're right above the ground.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Still flying.
Smell the.
All right, now it's no longer flying. So the idea is you come down, and that happened really quickly, but you come down, you can see the runway, you flare the airplane, you bleed off your extra airspeed in the air where the airplane is safe. Remember we said that? Yeah, no. I mean, the only time the airplane's going to be damaged is on the ground.
Yeah. So
if we can bleed off the extra airspeed in the air rather than on the ground, that's a much better option.
Yeah.
And then you allow the airplane to touch the ground when it stalls. So I don't know if you're a golfer. I'm not. It's too expensive to play golf, and it's mind-numbing. But this is kind of like golf. When you learn how to land a plane, it's you and the airplane against Mother Nature. Because every day, Mother Nature is going to give you something different. You know, It's going to be windy, it's going to be calm, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be bumpy, it's going to be,
Right.
Or overcast or what have you.
What's Kermit done with this building here on the right?
It is, he always said this was never intended to be anything more than my shop. And that's what it is. That's where his airplane, and it's full planes. And he just hired a new mechanic. So he hasn't really flown much in the last couple of years. He's going to get back into that. The new Fantasy of Flight is going to be all on the north side of the runway where this white hangar is. And he's talking about actually starting construction this year. People think that he hasn't really done anything in the last 4 years.
Right.
He's done a tremendous amount, for infrastructure. For example, this little pump house across the way, you had to put that in right there, $1.5 million. This has a fire suppression system in it because his airplanes have fuel in them.
Right.
$1 million per hangar. That's $3 million there because there's 3 hangars. Fiber optics come on this side now. Power's over here. He had to put in pipe from the water tower in Auburndale to get water here.
To get the fire protection.
Exactly.
Man.
So he's been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff.
I know they lived up top when he first.
Yeah, he did. They
built
have a
this.
house on the other side of the lake now. And that's complete your mission.
Thanks, Waldo.
Great job.
That was
fun.
awesome.